Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Today, I'm talking about one of my favourite horror novels of all time and how it spun off a kind of multimedia legacy. Yes, I am talking about James Herbert's The Rats. James Herbert crafted one of the creepiest, goriest, and fucking awesome horror novels out there. If you don't know who James Herbert is, he is a British author. He was born in 1943. He died in 2013. And worldwide, I think he sold about 53 million novels. So yeah, the guy is a fucking heavyweight. He is mostly well known for his Rat series. Yes, I do say series because there is a trilogy of them. But also, he released a novel called Fluke. And if you've never heard of the novel, you probably have seen the movie where that guy is reincarnated as his dog. But I digress. Yes, the Rats trilogy was a fantastic series of horror novels that really fucked with you. I mean, Herbert did not hold off. He had children being killed. He had school kids being killed. He had graphic violence. He had a lot of fucking heavy sexual content. He absolutely went to town on these novels. The first novel explores the invasion of the killer rats in London. Then it sees them traverse to the countryside and attack a small village. And then lastly, it shows them resurface during a nuclear exchange. So you kind of get a post-apocalyptic story. But as well as this fantastic trilogy of novels, we got some really interesting bits of multimedia. We got 2 movies, a video game for the Commodore 64, and a graphic novel that actually acts as a sequel to this book. So yeah, guys, I'm going to dip into that, and we shall learn a bit more about the legacy of James Herbert's The Rats. So first off, the 2 movies that were released. The first one was released in 1982, and it went under the alternate title of Deadly Eyes. It was directed by Robert Clouse and starred Scatman Crothers, and essentially does a very loose adaptation of the Herbert novel that sees a bunch of rats invade New York after they come in on a ship carrying steroid-infused corn. It's a silly movie, but I do gotta give it props that, like the novel, they do kill a small child in it. But bar that, it is very cheesy and very silly. The rats themselves are portrayed by dash hounds in rat costumes. And all in all, it's a really weak attempt. Herbert himself saw the movie and said it was absolutely utter rubbish. If you're a fan of, say, like the original Food of the Gods, maybe give it a look, but you can definitely skip this one. There was a remake made in 2002, and it was originally supposed to come out in 2001, but due to 9/11, they actually held off releasing it. It was essentially a TV movie released by Fox, and while it is better in some ways to the 1982 movie, it's more something that you would have seen on the Sci-Fi Channel and is very lackluster. As well as movie adaptations, it actually got a video game adaptation as well. In 1985, for the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64, Rats the Game was released by 5-Way Studios. And yeah, it's essentially a survival horror text game. And while looking at it today, it is very archaic. Back then, I would say it would have put the shits up you because some of the graphics are pretty unnerving and the sound effects also help it. And yes, as I said, the graphics are very primitive, but they're still creepy, especially when you get bitten by the rats and it goes to a close-up on your dying face. That's a very fucking creepy moment. By and large, this is an interesting game, and if you're a connoisseur of old Commodore or ZX Spectrum games, this is definitely one well worth checking out. And lastly, in 1993, we had The City. This was a graphic novel sequel to the Rats trilogy, and the art was done by Ian Miller. It is fantastic and wouldn't be out of place in the likes of 2000 AD or heavy metal. The story follows a lone survivor who traverses back into a rat mutant infested London to rescue his wife. Accompanied by his 2 mechanical dogs and armed with an absolute arsenal of weaponry, he must battle the rodent denizens of the city to get his wife back. Incredibly dark, incredibly fucked up. If you're a comic fan and you loved the original Rats novel, this is one to check out. As I said before, the artwork would be right at home in the likes of 2000 AD or heavy metal. So this is definitely one to check out. So yeah guys, that's all the multimedia that came out for James Herbert's The Rats. It's really interesting to think that a pulp novel that was released in 1974 garnered such a legacy, but it's cool. And again, if you haven't checked out James Herbert's The Rats, it is well worth checking out. The trilogy of books themselves are fantastic, but I think the first novel from Herbert is the best out of the bunch. So, my name's Martin, this has been the Trash Picture Show, and have you read, played, or even watched any of the Rats media? Let me know in the comments below, and yeah, have a good one, take care, bye now.